Right, good morning viewers and welcome again to Idea TV. This is the newspaper review segment, today being the Sunday of March 2026. All right, a quick look at most of the newspaper reviews that we brought across your way. We have the weekend show to look at today, the Tribune, and we also have the Sunday Telegraph, where we also have the Punch, and also the Nations, looking at the last newspaper that we'll be having for the day. A quick look at the weekend. Let's start from the weekend and see what the weekend is leading with this morning. On the front page of the weekend this morning, we have Tinubu men, rise of the loyalists. Tinubu men, rise of the loyalists. That is coming on the front page, on page 4 of the weekend this morning. Then we will also have on the up page, on page 26, Dan Bazwa gets China for mockery, Mexico as Mexico post ambassador. Dan Bazwa gets China for mockery, Mexico as Tinubu post ambassador. Then we will also have on page 26, all right, wives of alleged, we will also have wife of alleged military, wife of alleged co-plotters protest 160 days detention. That is coming on page 26 of the weekend. And we also have on page 34, a court grants Malami son right bail. Court grants Malami son right bail. Alright, then we also have on page 29 still on the weekend, where we have how Ramadan feeds needy small businesses. How Ramadan feeds needy and small businesses. Alright, then on the page 9, still on the weekend show, where we have harrowing war of Plateau Benue, children of war. Harrowing war of Plateau Benue, children of war. That is still coming in on the front page of the weekend trust. A quick look at on page 26, where we have wives of alleged coup plotters protest 160 days detention. I mean, a look at the weekend trust and / daily trust reported this. I mean, explaining that the wife of Nigerian military officers accused of plotting a coup protested because their husband has been detained for about 160 days without being charged or tried in court. I mean, why the protest? I mean, why a quick look at why the wives of these military officers has come out to protest. I mean, prolonged detention, I mean, without trial. Prolonged detention without trial. I mean, the officers have reportedly been held for over 5 months. About 160 days without formal charge or a court hearing. I mean, the family argue this violates the constitutional rights to presumptions of innocency and due process. I mean, looking at this, they have been held for over 5 months without trial, and they also come out to why the reasons for this trial protest is also to demand for open trial or release. Demand for open trial or release. I mean, protesters said authorities should either charge the officers in court, free them if there is no evidence. I mean, they insist any trial should be public and transparent. I mean, these are what they are coming out to protest, which is the wives of the military officers that were held in detention for over 5 months now, and also uncertainty and hardship for the family. I mean, these are the reasons why the wives of the militaries are coming out to protest: uncertainty and hardship for the family. I mean, the wife says their families have lived with fear, uncertainty, and unanswered questions since the arrest. I mean, they are coming out to complain this, and some claim they have limited or no access to their detained husbands. All right, they also come out to protest claims of innocency in the allegation. I mean, the wives are coming out to protest that there is innocency in the allegation since they are not being charged and there is no trial. I mean, looking at the families, since different versions of the accusation have circulated, raising doubts about the investigation. All right, they also come out to protest, saying support from activists. And the protest in Abuja was joined by activists like Omoyele Sowore and Deji Adeyanju, who also demanded due process. I mean, these are the reasons why the wives of the held military officers, about 16 of them, have been detained for 160 days in detention. I mean, looking at the whole story here, the wives have come out to protest that they should release their husbands to them because there is no trial and there is no evidence in the ongoing detention. All right, that is coming on page 26 of the weekends this month. Then a quick look at Tinubu's men, rise of the loyalists. I mean, looking at the front page where we have the cartoon of the president and some other members there. I mean, the weekend trust/daily trust article said, titled Tinubu's men, rise of the loyalists, explain how a network of politicians loyal to Tinubu has steadily gained influence across Nigerian government and political system. I mean, the main idea of this story, the report argued that many key positions in Nigerian political structure are now occupied by long-time allies and proteges of Tinubu. I mean, looking at showing how his political network has grown strongly since he became president. All right, that is looking at the major front page of the loyalist to Tinubu and the men that Tinubu has raised in the political system. I mean, key points from this article, looking at the article, I mean, long-standing political network. We also have loyalists occupying powerful roles. Then we also have mentorship and patronage system. Then we also have influence beyond Lagos. Debates about the system. I mean, these are most of the reasons why the rise of the loyalists to Tinubu's cabinet administration is seriously strong and can be opposed since the emerge of the president. I mean, looking at the long-standing political network, Tinubu built a strong base of loyalists during his time as governor of Lagos State since 1999 to 2007. I mean, looking at that long range, how he has built his strong leadership in terms of when he was governor of Lagos State since 1999 to 2007. All right. They also have loyalists occupying powerful roles. Several politicians who rose through Tinubu political structure now hold top federal or state offices. I mean, including ministers, governors, and senior party figures. All right, then mentorship and patronage system. I mean, these are more and more on the front article. Quickly grab the paper on that to see more details on that aspect. Then looking at the down article where we also have on page 9, where we also have harrowing war of Plateau, Benue children of war. Harrowing war of Plateau, Benue children of war. I mean, the weekend trust featuring harrowing war of Plateau, Benue children of war describe the difficulties life of children growing up and decade of violence in Plateau State and Benue State. It explained how repeated attack between armed group, farmers and herders have created a generation of children who have never experienced peace. I mean, looking at the deterioration of insurgency and their children that have known no peace since the emerge of this insecurity both in Plateau and in Benue State. I mean, what this article is all about, it's all about the children. I mean, many grow up surrounded by violence, and children loses parents and families, and then education is constantly disrupted, and they also have displacement and poverty. Then psychological trauma. I mean, these are the major reasons why the harrowing war of Plateau, Benue children has really affected the lives of the children in Plateau and Benue State. I mean, many grow up surrounded by violence. For over 2 decades, communities in Plateau and Benue have experienced recurring attack. I mean, looking at the previous attack both in Plateau and in Benue, I mean, a governmental committee reported at least 11,749 deaths and about 420 attack communities between 2021 and 2025 in Plateau alone. I mean, looking at the numbers is very, very high. 11,749 deaths and about 420 attacks. I mean, because of these, many children were born and raised during conflict, knowing little about peaceful life. I mean, this has a lot to do with the upgrading of our children. If they have found themselves in this kind of environment, this community that knows no peace and is always violence, I mean, it has a way of affecting them. And we also have children loses parents and families. I mean, looking at the reports, tell stories of children whose parents were killed in the attack. And also some because some became breadwinners at a young age or end up in displacement camp. I I'm also looking at examples. A boy named Mohammed Usman lost his fathers and ambushed and left school to head cattle to support his family. I mean, these are lots more. Why the harrowing world of Plateau, Benue has left children in war. Education are constantly disrupted. Education is constantly disrupted. Many children dropped out of school because their villages are attacked, or because their families loses their livelihood. Then some schools are destroyed or closed due to insecurity. I mean, these are the major challenges facing the upgrade and the harrowing world of the Benue children that's been affected by these circumstances, and also displacement and poverty. Displacements and poverty. I mean, thousands of families flee their homes to internally displaced person, which is the IDP camp, and they also have many children grow up in the camp where food, schools, fees, and healthcare are scarce. So with all this, it affects the children and affecting the mental upbringing of the children found in this vicinity. Also, physiological trauma. Physiological trauma, experts says growing in constant violence causes serious mental effects such as depression, fear and nightmare, which emotionally instability and increased risk of future violence. I mean, growing in this environment has a lot more to add to the children upbringing, whether it's in a good state or in a bad state. I mean, looking at the physiological trauma of the children that are being surrounded by most of this violence. I mean, you could imagine a child faced by a gun, or the dad or the mom being shot by this insecurity, by these bandits or killers or herdsmen. All right, quickly look at that article to digest more, to see what they have to explain on that aspect. All right, quickly moving to the next paper, which is the Sunday Tribune. Let's see what the Sunday Tribune is leading today. On the front page, 2027 permutation Aso Rock in a fix over Shetima. 2027 permutation Aso Rock in a fix over Shetima. That is coming on page 4 of the Tribune this morning. We will also have other captions like insider torn among choice as religion remains stubborn, variable. Then we also have other captions. Labor leaders declare support for Tinubu's re-election. Labour's leaders declare support for Tinubu re-election. Then on page 4, on the up page where we have attack on Borno, we will not be cowed. Will not be cowed by terrorists, Shetima declares. This administration won't rest until abducted citizens safely return, reunite with their families. That is Shetima declaring there in Borno State. Then on page 2 and page 23, we also have why we will set up Obafemi Awolowo Future Leaders Fellowship by Awolowo Dosumu. Why we will set up Obafemi Awolowo Future Leaders Fellowship by Awolowo Dosumu. That is coming on page 2 and page 23 of the Tribune this morning. Then also looking at the down page on page 4 of the Sunday Tribune, it says US-Israel versus Iran is too early to decide on 2026 Hajj by Macron. US/Israel versus Iran is too early. To decide on 2026 Hajj by NACON. That is NAHCON. Then also on page 5, still on the Tribune, where we have a new electoral act ploy to rig 2027 election by Obi. New electoral act ploy to rig 2027 election by Obi. All right, these are the major trending stories and captions on the front page of the Sunday Tribune. Then on page 4, we also have Kwankwaso loyalist wants over plans to impeach deputy governor for refusing to defect to APC. Kwankwaso loyalist won over plans to impeach deputy governor for refusing to defect to APC. That is coming on page 4 of the Sunday Tribune. Then on the down page, on page 2, still on the Tribune, we have a Nigerian grown demand answers as fuel price surge nationwide. Nigerian grown demand answers as fuel price surge nationwide. A quick look at the major front page, leading with the 2027 permutation Aso Rock in fix over Shetima. I mean, the Sunday Tribune reports 2027 permutation Aso Rock in the fixed Shetima discussion as political dilemma facing the presidency as early maneuvering for the 2027 election begin, especially regarding to the future of the Vice President Kashim Shettima on President Ahmed Bola Tinubu ticket. Why Aso Rock is in a fix? I mean, a quick look at why Aso Rock is in a fix. I mean, pressures to change the ticket. We also have risk of losing northern support. Then we also have growing internal tensions in the ruling party. Then we also have a strategic importance of Shettima. Then we also have an early political permutation for 2027. Early political permutation for 2027. I mean, these are why Aso Rock is in a fix. All right. Then looking at the first one, which is the pressure to change the ticket. I mean, some political actors are pushing for Tinubu to replace Shettima as running mate before the 2027 election. We also have one reason is critical of the Muslim ticket used in the 2023 election. Some strategists think replacing Shettima with Northern Christian could broaden political support. I mean, these are the pressures of changing of the ticket, knowing that the 2023 election was Muslim ticket. So the Northerners are coming in to say, if the people are coming in to see if they can bring a Christian vice president to make sure that it's balanced, to gain the support of the Northerners. Then we also have risk of losing Northern support. I mean, dropping Shettima could anger the Northeast, his political base. Many APC figures warn that such a move could cost Tinubu's vote in the region and destabilize the ruling party. Then we also have growing internal tension in the ruling party. I mean, political maneuvers for 2027 have already started inside All Progressive Congress APC. Then we also have strategic importance of Shettima. I mean, still looking at the 2027 permutation as a work in a fix over Shettima. Where we have strategic importance of Shettima. I mean, supporters argue that Shettima has a strong grassroots influence in the Northeast. Shettima has grassroots influence in the Northeast, then helped mobilize votes for Tinubu in 2023. Then he also represents regional balance in the APC coalition. So these are the major uprising in Aso Rock over the fix of Shettima, whether he still remains as the vice president or they bring in another person as the vice president. All right, these are the major trending stories on the front page of the Tribune this morning. Then a quick look at also why Nigerian grown demand answers as fuel price surge nationwide. That is looking at page 2 of the Tribune this morning, the down page. I mean, why Nigerian grown demand answers as fuel price surge nationwide. I mean, looking at the story by Sunday Tribune, reported titled Nigeria grown demand answers as fuel price surge nationwide, explain why Nigerians are complaining and demanding explanation after a sharp rise in petrol price across the country. I mean, looking at the fuel price that's already surged on the high side recently, and Nigeria is demanding answers and demanding answers for the fuel rise in this aspect. I mean, why fuel suddenly surged? Looking at reasons. I mean, increase in depot price from refineries. We have here increase in depot price for refineries. We also have rising global crude oil price. I mean, globally, rising global crude oil price. We also have end of fuel subsidy. Then we also have exchange rate pressure. Then logistic and transportation costs. I mean, these are the major reasons why the fuel is on the high as we speak. They're looking at the increase in depot price from refineries. Petrol price rose after suppliers, especially the Dangote refinery and other depot owners, raises their ex-depot price. I mean, when the depot price increase, filling station automatically adjust pump price upward. We also have rising global crude oil price. I mean, international crude oil price have increased due to the geopolitical tensions and fear of supply disruption in the Middle East. Then end of fuel subsidies. Since the fuel subsidy removal in 2023, petrol prices are no longer controlled by the government. This makes the pump price now reflect import costs, refinery pricing, and exchange rates, making increase more frequent. I mean, these are major reasons why the upsurge of the fuel price is really on the high side. Then we also have exchange rate pressure. The weak naira against the dollar increase the cost of importing petrol and other fuel components, forcing marketers to raise price higher. The logistical and transportational costs. All right, a quick look at that to see why there's demand and answers, why Nigerians are demanding answers for the fuel price that is being on a high price. Then we will also have on the other side, we will have attack on Bono, where we will not be a coward by terrorists, Shetima declares. That is relating to the story on page 4 of the Tribune, which is by Shetima, relating to the talk that we will not be cowed by terrorists. Shetima declares this administration won't rest until abducted citizens safely reunite with their families. I mean, looking at the story, terrorists suspected to be members of the Boko Haram or Islamic State West Africa province attack a community in part of Borno. I mean, look at what happened. I mean, the attackers caused casualties and destruction, raising renewed fear about security in the northeast. And Shetima, the Vice President, has come in to address the people after the attack. The Vice President, Kashim Shetima, said, Nigeria will not surrender to terrorists. I mean, the federal government remain committed to defeating insurgency group. Then we also have security. He also says security forces are working on to track down and eliminate those responsible. All right, these are his words. I mean, why the attack happened, and a look at why the attack happened. Insurgency trying to show they are still alive. I mean, the insurgency are trying to show that they are still alive. Then retaliation against military operation. I mean, why this happened? Why this attack happened? Then targeting rural communities. Recruitment and intimidation. I mean, these are the major reasons why the attack happened, according to the analysts in the report. All right, then we also have government position in this matter. In this matter now, the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu says it will continue strengthening the military operation in the northeast, intelligent gathering, and also cooperating with the local communities. All right, let's quickly move into you can get most of the stories to digest on all the captions on the Sunday Tribune for more highlights. All right, let's quickly move into the next paper, which is the Sunday Telegraph, and see what the Sunday Telegraph is leading with this morning. On the front page of the Sunday Telegraph this morning, we have 2027 APC may yield 6 states to PDP. 2027 APC may yield 6 states to PDP. If Tinubu secured second term, wicked factions win court cases. Then other captions like President opposes ruling party taking all states, says it will endanger democracy. PDP will bounce back after general election, ex-governor. PDP will bounce back after general election by ex-governor. Then on the up page, on page 5 of the Sunday Telegraph, where we have Afenifere condemns terrorist invasion of Yoruba land. Afenifere condemns terrorist invasion of Yoruba land. Then on page 3 and 4, where we have strikes of Hamas, 3,000 vessels, 20,000 sailors stranded in Middle East by Imo. Strait of Hamas, 3,000 vessels of 20,000 sailors stranded in Middle East by Imo. All right, still looking at the front page where we have captions like coming on page 2 of the Sunday Telegraph, page 2, page 14, and page 19. It says Khomeini assassination may fuel new wave of global terrorism. Khomeini assassination may fuel new wave of global terrorism by Akin Terinwa. All right, we also have captions like Iran fighting self-survival battle. Iran fighting self-survival battle. They will also have other captions like war may not be fought on battlefield. We'll have other captions like religion, coalition, likely new frontier. All right, these are coming on the front page of the Ghanaian assassination may fuel new wave of global tension. Global terrorism. I mean, looking at the Sunday Telegraph article by the Nigerian Foreign Policy, looking at all right, the way we have assassination could fuel global terrorism. Let's look at why assassination of the the supreme leader that was killed by the U.S. and Israeli airstrike striking Tehran, that eliminated the supreme leader, which is Ayatollah Khamenei, and how it could fuel terrorism. All right, revenge attack by allied military group. That is the first time we have revenge attack on allied military group. Then we have escalation of the Middle East conflict. Escalation of the Middle East conflict. I mean, wide assassination could fuel global terrorism. They will also have symbolic importance of Iran leadership. They will also have expansion of proxy warfare. Expansion of proxy warfare, where we have lastly risk of copycat political assassination. I mean, looking at the first one, where we have revenge attack by allied militant group. I mean, Akintewa argued that militant group linked to Iran may launch retaliatory attack around the world. I mean, this group include the Hezbollah and the Hamas. And also Iran allied militia in the Middle East. I mean, such group often view attack on Iranian leaders as attack on their ideological movement, which can motivate revenge operation. Then the second one, looking at why this could be fueled by terrorism, escalation of the Middle East conflict, the assassination rise intensifying tension between Iran and its rivals, particularly the United States and Israel. I mean, analysts was that the heightened confrontation between these powers could create conditions for proxy wars and terrorism operation worldwide. Then thirdly, we have symbolic importance of Iran leadership. Symbolic importance of Iran leadership. Iran revolutionary leadership rooted in the ideology of Ruhollah Khomeini has strong influence among militant network. If such leader is assassinated, extremists may portray it as a martyrdom narratives, encouraging radicalization and recruitment. All right. They will also have reasons like expansion of proxy warfare. Why it's still looking at the Khomeini assassination, why it may fuel a wave in global tension. Then on the fourth side, they will have expansion of proxy warfare. Iran's strategy has often relied on proxy group rather than the direct war. If the leadership attack, those networks could become more aggressive, globally targeting Western and allied interests. All right, so these are the major reasons why the assassination, according to the story by Sunday Telegraph, why the Khamenei assassination may fuel wave of global tension by Akin Terori. All right, Akin Teriwa. All right, still looking at the Sunday Telegraph, a quick look at that to see more of the stories on and highlights and more in-depth stories on that aspect. All right, looking at the 2027 APC may yield 6 states by PDP. I mean, the Sunday Telegraph report titled Why 2027 APC may yield 6 states to PDP discuss growing political concern that Nigerian ruling party, the All Progressive Congress, which is the APC, could lose control of several states in the opposition People's Democratic Party, which is the PDP, in the 2027 general elections. All right, where we have reasons. The report says APC could lose 6 states. I mean, looking at the first one, we have internal crisis within the APC. Then second, we have a performance condemns and voters dissatisfaction. And the third, we have strong PDP structure in certain states. And the fourth, we have possible defection. And lastly, we have power struggle over 2027 ticket. I mean, look at the first one where we have internal crisis within the APC. I mean, the article says many state chapters of the All Progressive Congress are facing faction dispute, leadership battle, disagreement over party structure and candidates. I mean, this conflict could weaken the party unity before the 2027 election. They're also looking at the second one where we have performance concern and voters dissatisfaction. I mean, some voters are reportedly unhappy with economic hardship, rising fuel prices, unemployment and inflation. Then thirdly, we have strong PDP structure in certain states. strong PDP structured in certain states. The People Democratic Party, which is the PDP, still has strong political network in some regions, and reports suggest that states where APC is vulnerable include areas where PDP recently performed well in election. APC victory were narrow or contested. All right, so they will also have possible defection. I mean, Nigerian political often sees political defection between parties before election if influential APC politicians defect to PDP. So these are the major reasons why they are coming in to say that 2027 APC may yield 6 states to PDP. All right, a quick look at that story there to know why APC may yield 6 states to PDP. Still looking at the Sunday Telegraph, where we have Strait of Hormuz, 3,000 vessels to 20,000 sailors stranded in Middle East. That is coming on page 3 and page 4, still on the Sunday Telegraph. Looking at the off page of the Strait of Hormuz, 3,000 vessels, 20,000 sailors stranded in the Middle East. I mean, according to the Sunday Telegraph report, the Strait of Hormuz, 3,000 vessels, 20,000 sailors stranded in Middle East, explain how rising tension in Gulf regions have disrupted one of the world's most important shipping routes. Where it's happening, the crisis is centered on the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman that connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman and the open ocean. About 1/5 of the world's oil shipments pass through this route. All right, why vessels and sailors are stranded? Looking at why the vessels and sailors are stranded. One, here we have a heightened military tension. Then security restriction on shipping. We also have threat of attack on vessels. We also have insurgents, insurance and safety concern. Then lastly, we have crew change problem. Looking at the first one, which is the heightened military tension. Rising confrontation involving Iran, United States, and Israel has created fear of attack on ship. Because of the risk, many shipping companies temporarily stopped or delayed voyage through the strait. Then looking at the second one, security restriction on shipping. Authorities and naval force increase. Where we have security inspection, convoy arrangements, and navigation restriction. That is coming under still on the security restriction of the shipping, relating to the story of the Straits of Hormuz. 3,000 vessels, 20,000 sailors stranded in the Middle East. All right, that is on that story there. A quick look on that page, on page 3 and page 4, to get more of the full dosage on that article there. Then looking at your sacrifice will not be in vain. President tells armed forces. Looking at the down page on page 2 and page 3 and page 26 of the Sunday Telegraph, where Tinubu is addressing the armed force. He says, your sacrifice will not be in vain. President tells armed forces. We won't succumb to attempts to undermine national security by Shetima. That's coming on page 26. But on page 3, where the president is addressing the military, your sacrifice will not be in vain, President tells armed forces. Looking at the Sunday Telegraph reported title, your sacrifice will not be in vain by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu covers a message by Nigerian president praising members of the Nigerian armed forces for services and sacrifices in protecting the country. Why the president is coming out to make this statement this time around? The message was delivered during activities marking Armed Forces Remembrance Day and other events honoring soldiers who died or were injured while defending Nigeria. Key point from the president's message, a quick look at the key point where he said tribute to the fallen soldiers, assurance to serving troops, support for families of fallen heroes, renew commitment to national security. And looking at the first one, we have tribute to fallen soldiers. Bola Ahmed Tinubu honors soldiers who has lost their lives in military operations against threats such as, which is the Boko Haram insurgency, banditry, terrorism, and communal violence. He said their sacrifice helped protect Nigerian unity and stability. Then we also have assurance to serving troops. The president assured the Nigerian Armed Forces that the government values their services, will continue improving their welfare. We provide better equipment and support for military operation. Then looking thirdly, support for families of fallen heroes. I mean, he promised that the government will not forget the widows, the children, dependents of soldiers who died in services. Then renewed commitment to national security. The administration pledged to keep strengthening the military defeat, which is the terrorism, insurgency, kidnapping, and banditry. These are the words of the president coming in to encourage the military that their sacrifice will not be in vain. We know how they have laid their life on the front line between the fight of insecurity in Nigeria, and how they have really fought to make sure that people live in peace and in harmony, and there's no destruction in the land. And the president is coming in to say that their sacrifice will not be in vain. That tribute to the fallen soldiers, and the assurance to serving troops, there's support for families of fallen heroes, then renewed commitment to national security. So these are the words of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Then a quick look at page 5, still on the front page, before we quickly go on a quick break. On Sunday Telegraph, where we have on page 5, state exco's will be addressing INEC concern by LP. State escorts, we are addressing INEC's concern by LP. Then on page 5, so on the front page, where we have Obina attack, federal government should safeguard opposition members' life by Atiku. As see coming on the front page. Then on page 3, we have discourse generates 207 billion naira in December by NERC. Discourse generates 207 billion naira in December by NERC. All right, that is coming on the front page. Then looking at the up page. Okay, I think we've taken that story. All right, let's quickly go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue from where the nations have for us on the front page. Stay tuned. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
6G networks and beyond. 5G is still rolling out worldwide, but work on 6G is already in motion. South Korea, Japan, and Finland are leading trials, with commercial deployment expected around 2030. 6G aims to use terahertz frequencies to deliver speeds up to 100 times faster than 5G and latency as low as 100 microseconds. That's fast enough to support real-time holograms, autonomous fleets, and massive IoT ecosystems. The ITU has begun setting 6G standards, while companies like Nokia and Samsung are actively developing hardware. By 2026, early 6G pilots will give us a glimpse of the post-5G world.
All right, it's glad to have you back. This is the Idea Newspaper Review segment. I am Gabriel Matthew Seriki. All right, let's continue from where we stop on the newspaper review this Sunday morning. All right, we're looking at the nation. Let's see what the nation is trending with. On the front page, federal government review options as Iran war impact grows. Federal government reviews options as Iran war impact grows. That is coming on the front page of the nations. Then on the up page, where we have on page 5 of the nations, where we have Electoral Act 2026 outcourts jurisdiction on parties' internal affairs. Electoral Act 2026 outcourts jurisdictions on parties' internal affairs. That's coming on the front page of the nation this morning. Then on page 8, still on the nation, where we have Zamfara's PDP government may decide for APC next week. Zamfara PDP government may decide for APC next week. That is coming in on the front page still of the nation. Then looking at page 7, still on the nation, where we have Borno attack. Governments won't allow terrorism. Terrorists occupy Nigerian soil, says by Shetima. Borno attack. Government won't allow terrorists occupy Nigerian soil, by Shetima. All right, that is coming on page 7, still on the front page. Then we also have other captions as Akwa Ibom women endorses Tinubu, Akpabio Eno ahead of 2027. Akwa Ibom women endorses Tinubu, Akpabio Eno ahead of 2027. You can see the picture.
Number 7, nanotechnology in medicine and electronics. When you shrink technology down to the nanoscale, you open up whole new possibilities. In medicine, researchers are exploring nanoparticles that deliver chemotherapy drugs directly to tumors, reducing side effects. MIT and Brigham and Women's Hospital have developed nanosensors that can detect cancer biomarkers in blood. In electronics, nanoscale transistors are already pushing Moore's Law further, with IBM unveiling a 2-nanometer chip in 2021 that promises major gains in performance and energy efficiency. The global nanotechnology market is projected to surpass $250 billion by 2030, showing just how central this field is becoming.
All right, still looking at the front page where we have government, federal government reviews options as Iran war impact grows. Looking at that front page on the nations where we have the nations reports titled Federal Government Reviews Options as Iran war impact grows. All right, explaining that Nigeria's government is studying different political responses because the Iran-related conflict in the Middle East is beginning to affect Nigerian economic and security. The war due to the Middle East crisis in Iran, struck by the Israel and US, is already affecting the economic and the security of Nigeria. Now, why the federal government is reviewing its option? Rising global oil price, these are the major reasons. So rising global oil price, higher fuel and energy costs at home. Then inflation and economic pressure. Then we also have exchange rate and financial stability concern. Then lastly, we have security implication. These are all relating to the front page where federal government review option as Iran war impact grows. A quick look at the first page here where we have rising global oil price relating to the major front page of the newspaper this morning, The Nation. The war has pushed global crude oil price upward because of fear of supply disruption in the Middle East. This could increase Nigerian oil revenue since the country is a major crude oil exporter. However, the government must plan how to manage the extra income and volatility. All right. Then we also have the second, higher fuel and energy cost at home. Still relating to the front page of the newspaper this morning. Even though Nigeria export crude oil, it imports a large share of refined petroleum products. When global oil prices rises, petrol, diesel, and aviation fuel often become more expensive in Nigeria, increasing inflation and living costs. Then we also have inflation and economic pressure. Higher fuel price affects transportation, food distribution, manufacturing costs. These are the ways where the review of the Iran war that's impacting the growth and the security and the economic of Nigeria. The fourth one, we have exchange rate and financial stability concern. The government is also assessing how the conflict could affect foreign reserve, the naira exchange rate, international trade and investment flows. These are still the reasons. Then fifth, we have security implication. Expert wants the global geopolitical conflict can have indirect security consequences for countries already facing internal threats such as insurgency and banditry. All right, these are the major reasons why the federal government review options as Iran war impact grows. A quick look at that story, the front page, to quickly digest and to read in depth on the review on that front page. They're still looking at The Nation, where we have Akwa Ibom women endorses Tinubu Akpabio Eno ahead of 2027 election. That is relating to page 7, the down page of The Nation this morning, where we have The Nation's reports that the Akwa Ibom women endorses Tinubu Akpabio Eno ahead of 2027, explain that thousands of women in Akwa Ibom state publicly supported 3 political leaders for re-elections ahead of 2027 general election. All right, why the Akwa Ibom women endorses them? Why they endorses these 3 people? First, we have events during International Women's Day celebration. We also have support for continuation of current leadership. Then we also have praise for government reforms and programs. Fourth, we have political mobilization ahead of 2027. I mean, this is why the Akwa Ibom women endorses these men. All right, looking at the first one, where we have events during International Women's Day celebration. I mean, the endorsements happens during the 2026 International Women's Day celebration in Uyo, and more than 5,000 women attended the event, which already also was attended by Nigerian First Lady, which is Oluremi Tinubu. They will also have support for continuation for current leadership. Then the woman endorses President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for second-term president. Then Senate President Godswill Akpabio to continue representing this senatorial district. Then we also have Akwa Ibom Governor Umo Eno for another term as governor. These are the three people that the Akwa Ibom women has come in to show their support and to pledge that there should be continuity in the leadership of these three people, which is first we have the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, then Akwa Ibom Governor Umo Eno for continuation. Then we also have third reasons why they are coming out to pledge their support: praise for governance reform and programs. At the event, Oluremi Tinubu said the administration reform were designed to build long-term development and prosperity, urging women to support the progress made so far. They also have political mobilization ahead of 2027. I mean, these are the major reasons why they are coming to pledge their support for 2027 general race election. Then also a look at the Electoral Act of 2026, out-cost jurisdiction on parties' internal affair. That is coming on the front page, on page 5 of the Nation, where we have Electoral Act 2026, out-court jurisdiction on parties' internal affair. I mean, the Nation's Nigeria reports that the Electoral Act 2026, out-court jurisdiction on party internal affair, explain that the proposed reform to Nigeria elections law may limit the ability of courts to interfere in the internal decision of the political party. I mean, what the Electoral Act of 2026 proposal means. I mean, the proposal seeks to state the court should not decide disputes about how political parties manage their internal affair, except in very limited situation. I mean, why the change is being proposed. Why the change is being proposed? Looking at the first one here, to reduce excessive election litigation. To reduce excessive election litigation. We also have to protect party autonomy. We also have to stop forum shopping. Then we also have to speed up the electoral processes. I mean, these are the major reasons why the Electoral Act of 2026 out-court jurisdiction on party internal affair. A quick look at that story to quickly digest and to see more on that aspect. All right, let's quickly move into the next paper, which is the Guardian. Let's see what the Guardian is leading with today before we will call it a wrap. On the front page of the Guardian, we have food inflation. Fear resonates over Middle East crisis. Food inflation, fear resonates over Middle East crisis. I mean, looking at the Guardian newspaper reports title, food inflation, fear resonates over Middle East crisis, explain that the growing conflict in the Middle East is raising concern that food prices could increase worldwide, including Nigeria. I mean, why the Middle East crisis raise food price? First, we have disruption of global shipping routes. We also have rising energy and fuel price. We also have fertilizer supply concern. Then we have currency pressure on importing countries. Then lastly, we have imports. Impact on already high inflation. Then moving on further on other captions, where we have how looking at the up page on page 8 and page 9 still on the Guardian this morning, how proliferation of a non-variable airport drain public resource. How proliferation of non-variable airports drain a public resource. That is the comment on the front page. Then we also have Lay Sharibu forgotten in the wilderness. That is the comment on the front page of the Guardian. Then we also have Lagos Live, that's on page 5. It's talking about the Guardian this morning. Commuters decry 30% BRT fare hike amid overcrowding, delay poor services. All right, that's the coming on the front page of the Guardian this morning. Then looking at the down page of the Guardian, where we have on page 2, where we have finally Tinubu releases ambassadorial posting. Finally, Tinubu releases ambassadorial posting. Then still on page 2 of the Guardian this morning, Nigerian oil great hits 90 million barrels per dollar. $90 barrel push earning to 186.3 billion daily. That's it coming on page 2 of the Guardian this morning. Then on page 3, where we have stranded power, Tinubu inaugurates communities on grid asset management company. That's it coming on the front page of the Guardian. Then finally, Tinubu releases ambassadorial posting relating to the story on page 2 of the Guardian. According to the Guardian, the article, finally, Tinubu released ambassadorial posting reports that the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had approved the deployment of 65 ambassadors designed to Nigeria, a foreign mission around the world. Why Tinubu finally releases this ambassadorial posting? First, we have to fill diplomatic gaps abroad. To fill diplomatic gaps abroad. Then 2, Senate confirmation had already been completed. Senate confirmation has already been completed. Then 3, we have to strengthen Nigerian global diplomacy. To strengthen Nigerian global diplomacy. Then we also have a combination of career and political ambassadors. A combination of careers and political ambassador. The 5th, we have notable appointments drew attention. Notable appointment drew attention. You look at the first one where we have to fill diplomatic gaps abroad. Relating to the story of finally Tinubu releases ambassadorial posting on page 2 of the Guardian, the down page, where we have, it says Nigerian had operated many embassies without ambassadors for months. Nigeria has operated many embassies without ambassadors for months, which analysts said weakens the country's diplomatic reputation. The new posting aims to restore full diplomatic pressure and also presence in key countries and international organizations. Then 2, we have a Senate confirmation had already been completed. The ambassadors were early nominated and confirmed by the Senate in December 2025. All right, these are the major reasons why Tinubu released ambassadorial posting relating to that story on page 2 of the Guardian this morning. All right. Then we also have on the odd page where we have how proliferation of non-variable airports drains public resource. All right, I think we have taken this story. So these are more on the caption on the front page of the Guardian this morning. A quick look at the other paper we brought your way, which is the Punch, talking about the Punch. Let's see what the Punch is leading with this morning. On the front page of the Punch this morning, we have Nigerian US-Iran war. Nigeria loses millions in Dash Umrah dream. Nigeria loses millions in Dash Umrah dream. That is coming on the front page of the Punch. We also have captions like intending pilgrims lament financial losses to cancel trips. Intending pilgrim lament financial losses to cancel trips. Then captions like I paid 13 million. Everything now messed up. It's painful. It's coming in still on the front page of the Punch this morning. Then looking at the up page on page 2, I think on page 2 on the up page where we have ADC kicks as president posts 65 ambassadors. ADC kicks as president posts 65 ambassador. Then looking at the next page, we have 2027, 4 ministers to quit Tinubu's cabinet. 2027, 4 ministers to quit Tinubu's cabinet. That's coming on the front page. Then on the down page where we have a young man there, a couple holding a certificate there, how Edo man sponsored me from Almajiri School to university by Jigawa University's graduates. That is coming from a graduate. This is how Edo man sponsored me from Almajiri School to university. All right, that is coming in also as a caption there. Then on page 7, still on the down page, where we have Atiku Obi. Atiku Obi condemns Borno massacre. Terrorist vows to attack Abuja next. All right, Atiku Obi condemns Borno attack. Terrorists vows to attack Abuja next. Then we also have on entertainment, we have Portable didn't beat me. It was a paid advert. Portable did not beat me. It was a paid advert. Then relating to the front page, where we have on the front page We listen to the front page where we have slice for profit. Why the deadly rise of fraudulent surgery in hospital? All right, looking at the front page where we have slice for profit, deadly rise of fraudulent surgery in hospitals. I mean, the Punch investigation titled "Slice for Profit: Deadly Rise of Fraudulent Surgery in Hospital" explain how some patients in Nigeria are allegedly being subjected to unnecessary or fake surgical operation, mainly for financial gain. I mean, why fraudulent surgeries are rising? First, we have a profit-driven misdiagnosis. Profit-driven misdiagnosis. All right. Some doctors reportedly tell patients they have conditions such as appendix, even when they do not. Then, secondly, we have lack of proper laboratory tests. Thirdly, we have weak regulation and oversight. Then fourthly, we have pressure in the health system. Then lastly, we have a serious risk to patients' life. I mean, these are the reasons why the slice for profit, deadly rise of fraudulent surgery in Nigeria. We all know most of the hospitals and most of the paternity homes, and they are not well registered, and at the end they're acting under a quack acting. In the sense that they carry their operation without having a proper documentary or a proper way in which it's supposed to be done legally. Most of these hospitals, they carry out surgeries without having a legal backing. So looking at the first one, we have profit-driven misdiagnosis. I mean, it's such a case that has really affected the Nigerian hospitals, in which the doctors they don't have gadgets in which to diagnose most of these patients, and they end up doing a quack work for the patients. I mean, for them, and they end up losing their life. Looking at the second one, lack of proper laboratory tests. Experts says many hospitals skip essential diagnostic tests before surgery. But globally, 70 to 80% of medical decisions should be based on laboratory test results, and bypassing such tests increase the risk of wrong diagnosis and unnecessary operation. Then weak regulation and oversight, where we have the report suggests that gaps in supervision in parts of the health system allow medical misconduct or negligence to go unchecked. Alright, so these are the major reasons why there is so much rise in surgery in the hospitals, and most of them are not registered, and they operate under a quack operation. Alright, that is on that story there. They're still relating to the on the story on page 2, where we have on the up page 2027 4 ministers to quit Tinubu's cabinet. Then we also have ADC kicks as president post 65 ambassadors. All right, these are still on the front page of the Punch this morning. All right, a quick look at the Saturday. A quick look at the recap, most of the recap that we brought across your way, which is on the newspaper this morning. Let's do a quick recap on all the papers we brought across your way. Looking at the weekend trust, this morning, we brought across your way on the weekend trust, the rise of the loyalists, which is the Tinubu, talking about Tinubu's men, rise of the loyalists. That is coming on the front page of the weekend trust. Then the next paper we'll take a look at today was the Sunday Tribune, where we have on Sunday Tribune 2027 permutation as a work in a fix over Shetima. 2027 permutation also work in a fix over Shetima. Then looking at the next paper, which is the Sunday Telegraph. Looking at the Sunday Telegraph, where we have 2027 APC may yield 6 states to PDP. 2027 APC may yield 6 states to PDP. Then looking at the next paper we brought across your way, we're talking about the Guardian this morning. Food inflation fierce resonates over Middle East crisis. Food inflation fierce resonates over Middle East crisis. They're looking at the Punch newspaper on the headline: U.S.-Iran war, Nigeria loses millions in Dash Umrah dreams. U.S.-Iran war, Nigeria loses millions in Dash Umrah dream. All right. Then the last paper we look at today, which is the Nation, talking about the Nation. Federal government review options as Iran war impact grows. Federal government review option as Iran war impacts grow. These are and more we're able to bring across your way today on what is trending in the world of politics, entertainment, and also in sport. Make it an appointment to always tune into Idea TV newspaper review segment every day by 8 a.m. in the morning. I am Gabriel Matthew Siriki. Thank you for your time.